and welcome to the History and Chill channel, and welcome to this new series where we explore on how to survive the darkest side of humanity. Not to give in to it, but to remain human in spite of it. Welcome to Surviving Humans. And today we will be exploring how to survive Auschwitz. I have read this book a couple of times, Viktor Frankl, The Man's Search for Meaning, but I have the Dutch translation of the book. Really good book. And also I have the book The Photographer of Auschwitz, and yeah, I gathered some information on how to survive Auschwitz. Yeah, so without further ado, we'll just get into it and look at these 10 practical tips on how we could survive Auschwitz. Tip number 2, it's the most important one. It is find meaning in suffering. So find meaning in suffering. What Viktor Frankl taught us in his book is those who have a why to live can bear almost any how. That's also a quote from Nietzsche, but Viktor Frankl used it a lot. So even in unimaginable pain, people survived by clinging to purpose, be it love, faith, or the dream of telling their story someday. Basically, it means let suffering itself become meaning. There is no escape from pain. You lose everything, you lose your freedom, your loved ones, your future, but even then, Viktor says that he believed you had one final freedom, and that is the freedom to choose how you respond to your suffering. He wrote, "Suffering ceases to be suffering at the moment it finds a meaning." Suffering ceases to be suffering at the moment it finds a meaning. In Auschwitz, people couldn't control their fate at all, but they could choose to endure it with courage, or to hold on to love, or to turn their pain into a story that might help others later. Yeah, moving on to tip number 2. Preserve your inner dignity. Preserve your inner dignity. Frankl described how some prisoners kept shaving, they kept standing tall, and they refused to let the camp steal their humanity. They maintained a sense of self. However small, it was still an act of resistance. So that's tip number 2. Preserve your inner dignity. Tip number 3. Build human connections. Build human connections. Lalo, the tattooist of Auschwitz, he survived Auschwitz thanks to bonds with others, especially his love for his beloved Gita, which he met during the camps. Friendship, he says, friendship provides hope, warmth, and reasons to keep going, even though friendship and love is really hard to find in places like Auschwitz. Still, you should try to build human connections with other people. Tip number 4. Make yourself useful if possible. Roles like translator, clerk, barber, or in Lali's case, tattooists, sometimes gave prisoners small advantages. A skill or task could become your survival threat. Well, we also see this with the photographer of Auschwitz. Wilhelm Brasse, he was called, also a very good book. And he knew how to take pictures, and he got a role of taking pictures to document everybody entering the camp, which meant he was able to survive the camps as well. But there were a lot of other positions you could have in the camp, but it's not always possible. Moving on to tip number 5, and that's a big one, I think. Resist in subtle ways. Wilhelm Brasse, he was the photographer of Auschwitz. He risked everything to save, hide forbidden negatives inside his mattress. It may look small, because it says resist in subtle ways, but actually it's a huge thing he did and a huge risk he took as well. He says that when he did that, that's a tiny, quiet act of defiance. He preserved the truth of what happened there. He preserved the memory or dignity you have, and in a way it kind of protects your soul as well. Moving on to tip number 6. Avoid unnecessary conflict. Many who acted impulsively or defiantly were targeted and killed. Staying alive sometimes meant staying quiet, observant, and strategic, which is a very hard skill to possess. I think I am more of an impulsive type. If I think so, yeah. I'm definitely more of an impulsive type. Which has its benefits in daily life, but not in Auschwitz. So my chances would be, kind of low, I believe. Moving on to tip number 7. Live one day at a time. That's also a big one. I read many books, and people said, like the writer of the books, they said that, especially Viktor Frankl, he believed that there were a lot of people who were saying things like, but next Christmas we'll be home, or no, it's not gonna last all summer, I will be home after summer. But then, when the day comes and they're still in prison, they lose all hope. So it's a bad idea to be in a place like Auschwitz and think that there's going to be a specific time when you are going to be free. Just live day by day. And that's how Frankl said he survived. And it really is important to be mentally there, because he says that when people weren't free the day that they thought they would be free, they would completely collapse and they would not survive the camps. So it goes to show that your mentality is a very big defining factor. Moving on to tip number 8. A big one as well. Use the power of your imagination. Prisoners often could mentally escape in dreams or of family, of art, of future lectures. That's what Viktor Frankl did. He was a psychologist, and he sometimes imagined himself giving lectures about what he thought in the camp. He used his imagination to do that and to power through. And that just really goes to show that your mind itself can be your last sanctuary. And tip number 9 is take care of your body, obviously within limits. which means avoid freezing, infection, or injury at all costs. And don't give away food unless you're strong enough yourself. Physical strength is a part of mental survival. Yeah, it's also like finding balance, because we also talked about other tips that were given in the books, like forming bonds with humans. Giving away food can form a strong bond with a human, but what this tip means is you should always make sure that you yourself are strong enough, So, yeah. Tip number 10, and that is the last tip, but the very, 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 very biggest one. It is to stay human in an inhuman world. The greatest rebellion was remaining kind, moral, and compassionate towards other people. Even one selfless act, one shared crust of bread, proved that evil hadn't won. And that is a very big lesson. You can be in the worst of places, like Auschwitz, but if you yourself try to sometimes, when it's possible, act like a human, show some kindness. Evil did not win in that moment. You remained true to your humanity. Anyways, I'm going to wrap it up, but this was the first episode of a new series I was thinking of doing, called Surviving Humans. And I will gather tips on how to survive humankind's worst periods, worst events, and combine them in these videos. I hope you find it interesting, because I sure do. I am fascinated by topics like this. So anyways, goodbye and take care, and see you in the next video.